Got another case for you guys today, the case of Jamie Banks. So why don't we just get right into it? Let's go ahead and look at the back. On November 20th, 1992, East Verona High School was shocked by the death of 18-year-old senior Jamie Banks. Jamie fell from a 6th floor window in the newspaper room where she also worked as an investigative reporter. Investigators identified 5 individuals who might have been in the room with Jamie, but they were unable to identify a prime suspect and eventually ruled it a S and closed the case. But Jamie didn't commit S. She was murdered. Can you solve a case that eluded police for decades? Let's find out. If they didn't solve it, how do they know? Well, all right, so in here, there's gonna be a bunch of articles, photos, witness statements, mugshots, interrogations, and of course, we have the 3 objectives to solve. Later on, we'll have to access the website, but for now, let's just open it up. Okay, got our bonus envelopes here after we solve each objective. So first we'll just go through all the documents really quickly, and then of course after that we'll go more in depth. Objective 1, prove someone was in the room with Jamie. We can prove someone was in the room with Jamie just before she died. Visit the website. Okay, next we have evidence. Contains photographs relevant to the investigation. Do not bend. Let's go ahead and open this up. Got some photos, and usually, yes, there's a magnifying glass. Let's look at these photos. Assuming this is Jamie. Her shoe fell off. There's some stuff on her shoe as well. Okay, we have timestamps. November 20th, 10:51 a.m. All right, next we have Verona Voice, room 622. There's a chalkboard with some writing here. Timestamped 11:02 a.m. This must be the window that she fell out of. And this must be the newspaper room. 11:04 a.m. Verona Voice. I'm guessing that's the name of their newspaper. And there's a picture of some dude here. Looks like Mario Lopez or something. All right, next we have a computer. Of course, this is 1992. The pressure was too much. I couldn't take it anymore. Goodbye, Jamie. Well, not handwritten, so anyone could have typed this, of course. We have a notepad found in victim's pocket. So this is Jamie's notepad. She's taking notes on something. They look like names of mascots. I don't know what these numbers are. Oh, W could be win. These bets. Talk to Joey, see what he says. Probably some illegal gambling going on. Okay. Items found in victim's pocket. Got $100. Stop, hammer time, keychain, one of those multicolored pens, and poison. Poison. What was she doing with poison? All right, next. Principal Janice Dowling, Robert Romero, giving some sort of model pose. I don't know, maybe he's a thespian. Craig Zimmerman. Looks like he has nothing in his eyes but a void. Joey Ferrari, definitely the cool guy. And back to Jamie. Okay, so that's it for the photos. And of course we have this photo of Jamie as well. Okay, next we have the inventory list. This is just to make sure if I'm missing any documents. We have a newspaper clipping, 2-sided, apparent S, star running backs disappointment finish. So some news about the football team. Verona Voice, so East Verona High School newspaper. Banks bombs in Romeo and Juliet. So I guess she was a part of the drama team. We have some info about school events, some news about state championship. So I guess their football team was pretty good, but maybe something happened and they lost the championship. Might be some controversy there or something. More stuff about the school. What are you doing for Thanksgiving break? So they interviewed some students. This is Joy Ferrari. We have the newspaper staff up here. Jamie Banks is one of the reporters. All right, don't want to get too much into this now. Next, we have a class photo and missing. So there's a list of people, some names I do not recognize. Most likely they're gonna be the suspects. There's a clock in the top. I don't know if you guys can see. So that probably will line up with this. So the clock says 10:10, and this happened at 10:51. So I'm guessing anyone who's missing in the class photo definitely doesn't have an alibi. All right, case closed. I thought it was eluding. So this is December 10th, only less than a month after it happened. So I think this probably gives a good summary of everything. We'll definitely go over this later. Coroner investigation report. Hoping there's a photo. Yes. Why does it look like there's a dude, huh? Cause of death, massive internal organ rupture and failure. High velocity impact with pavement. Jump from window several stories off the ground. Okay, so they just are assuming she jumped. But of course, we're here to prove that it wasn't the case. Evidence, property, custody document. So this is everything that was probably on her body, from the clothes she's wearing to all the articles. I believe we saw some of these in the photos. We'll go through it later. And we got some security footage. So timestamps, again, 10:51, but we can see that it was at 10:10. So that lines up with the class photo. You can also see someone running up to her at 10:40. I wonder if you'll be able to identify this person. Witness statement form, Janice Dowling, who I believe is the principal. And of course, it's double-sided. More reading. Witness statement, Robert Romero. I also saw his photo. Witness statement, Craig Zimmerman, the guy with nothing in his eyes. And Joey Ferrari. Double-sided. I was the last one in the school newspaper room before Jamie Banks jumped. Interesting. Okay, we'll see about that. And now we have our suspects. So there should be 5 here. So these names, I'm guessing, will line up with the people who are missing from the class photo. So first up, Sophie Sunday, right here. Sophie Sunday, definitely missing. And we have a POI report, a witness statement, and an interview. Next, Johnny Rocca, missing. He has a POI and just an interview, no witness statement. And then Dr. Benjamin Gelding. Dr. Gelding right here is missing. He has POI, a witness statement, and an interview. Next, Olivia Underwood, who is shedding a tear. Don't know whether to trust that though, right? You can never tell at these games. She has a POI, witness statement, and interview. And lastly, Paul Preakness. Preakness. I don't know. I didn't check Olivia. She's right there. Olivia Underwood and Paul Preakness. So both missing. So of course, all those suspects are not in this class photo. POI and just an interview. Okay, so that's all the documents. Usually what I like to do is get them on the computer so it's easier for me to read and it's also easier for you guys to read and follow along. So we have all our documents here, and as I mentioned before, I kind of wanted to start on this summary report. Facts of the case: on Friday, November 20th at 10:19, Stu Collier called the Verona Police Department to report an S that had taken place at East Verona High School. First responders arrived at the scene within 6 minutes of receiving the call. By that time, there was a crowd of teachers surrounding the victim's body. The victim was deceased before the first responders arrived. The victim fell from the 6th floor window in the school's newspaper room. The victim typed an S note onto a computer in the room she jumped from, allegedly. The victim had previous S thoughts and received treatment from a school counselor for bipolar tendencies. The victim received a very negative review of her theater performance in the school newspaper that morning. Significant evidence. School photo. An all-school photo was taken at the same time the victim fell. Yeah, we kind of pieced that together. It was immediately developed and includes all but 5 students and staff. All 5 of those individuals were thoroughly interrogated about their whereabouts. I'm guessing these are the 5 suspects. Verona Voice. School newspaper cover story was extremely critical of the victim's performance in the school play. Typed S note. Forensics discovered an S note typed onto a computer screen in the room the victim jumped from. The note indicates she was feeling overwhelmed with the pressure in her life, and We saw that photo. Victim's clothing has been fully investigated by the microscope lab and nothing unusual found. No signs of a struggle or foul play. Coroner's report. No evidence of foul play. Looks like S. Witness statements. Robert Romero discovered the body, heard screaming and a thud, and arrived at the victim within 10 to 15 seconds. What were you doing that close by? Dr. Benjamin Gelding, experienced guidance counselor, worked with victim and indicates past history of bipolar disorder and S ideations. Several other witness statements were obtained from friends and faculty, confirming the distraught mentality of the victim at the time. Conclusion: since we could find no evidence of foul play, we believe Jamie Banks committed S by jumping out of the window on her own accord. She was not under the influence of any alcohol, drug, or other narcotic. She was distraught over a poor acting performance and has a history of bipolar disorder and S ideations. Whew, that's rough. But we're here to prove there's probably more to it than just that. So next, why don't we just look at the coroner investigation report? Did I say coroner? Coroner. All these, I think, are just some minor details. We have Linda Banks, the mother. So I guess they're in Boston. Are we set in Boston? Yeah, so we are in Boston. So incident information, time of death, 10:10 a.m., injury time, 10:10 a.m. Address is the school. I'm guessing this is the school address. Last seen at 9:55 a.m. and then found, of course, after jumping out the window on the south lot. Found by Robert Romero and last seen alive by Olivia Underwood. Robert Romero, I think it was just a witness, and Olivia is one of our suspects. And then we know the weather was clear, occurred during the school day. The position, lying on back, leaning slightly on left side. We saw the photo, the pose was kind of suspicious when like one of the shoes was taken off, so I think there's some foul play here. Liver and rigor. Visible at 12:28 p.m. Found in neck eyelids. Distinguishing marks, none. No body decomposition. Cause of death, we saw this earlier. Massive internal organ rupture and failure. High velocity impact with pavement. Jump from window several stories off the ground, allegedly. And then she has wounds on her head, neck, abdomen, spine, upper extremities, and lower extremities. It looks like, yeah, she must have landed on her back, but on one side. She was found lying on back, leaning slightly on the left side. Maybe, I don't know. She could have fell on this side. All right, let's just move on. Narrative comments. Victim is an 18-year-old high school student. Based on the evidence present in the case, it appears she jumped, fell, or was pushed out of the 6th floor window at East Verona High School. The victim appears to have landed flat on her back, nearly parallel to the ground. A few minor abrasions throughout her body do not appear suspicious or related to anything other than the fall. Severity of injuries is perfectly consistent with a fall onto pavement from between 70 to 90 feet up. This matches the height of the window she is presumed to have jumped from. Victim's counselor reported a history of bipolar disorder. Although it cannot be ruled out, there is no evidence suggesting foul play based on my examination of the body. Our sincere condolences go out to the Banks family. We are sorry for their loss. And it was released to Jason Fillmore. Oh, Fillmore Funeral Home, okay. Clothing, I'm guessing these are just other little details. And yeah, why don't we go ahead and look at these personal effects. So here's the evidence that was found. Here's the clothes that she was wearing. Blue and white flannel button-down shirt blouse, covered in dried blood and other bodily fluids, mostly on the back. Tested in 12 locations, no indication of blood or other evidence from any individual other than the victim. White undershirt, medium-sized cotton tank top style undershirt. 9 blood tests administered and no blood other than the victim's found. Blue jeans, pants, Guess brand. Size 25 waist, XS, no noticeable damage beyond normal wear. Probably this is more the important stuff. Pair of earrings, plain sterling silver stud earrings. Blue sneakers, new condition blue sneakers with white shoelaces. A few small splatters of orange, yellow, and red latex house paint on the left shoe and a smudge of clay on the heel of the right shoe. Otherwise, both shoes are in new condition, no unusual wear on the soles or laces. I did notice there was some splatter on the shoes aside from it being off her foot. So we'll definitely look into that. And the clay, I don't know what that could be also. Undergarments both check, nothing unusual. Small size spiral note, we saw a picture of this. 3x5 red spiral note, all pages are blank except one page that has notes on it. Looks like math homework. Picture taken to be added to tan photograph envelope within the case file. Definitely not math homework. Empty bottle marked poison. Brown bottle approximately 4 inches tall and 2 inches wide, empty. No smell or residue of any unusual substances or narcotics found. Not sure what this was for. I'm guessing a prop. I mean, she was in like Romeo and Juliet, right? So maybe someone planted that on her to make it look very suspicious, but it was just a prop from the play. Multicolor retractable pen, blue and white pen, has 4 different colors of ink: black, red, green, and blue. I think I noticed that the writing in the notebook was with green ink, so she could have wrote that. Keychain with keys found in pants pocket. 5 keys on a white keychain with a clever graphic of a stop sign that reads "Stop, hammer time." Very tempted to play the song, but I don't want to get copyright strike. $100 bill found in pants pocket. Standard $100 bill inspected at the microscope lab and no relevant evidence found. That is very weird though, that she had a $100 bill on her. It looks like that's it. So I'm gonna take a few notes here, particularly with the blue sneakers and maybe with this bottle of poison. Okay, I have my notes about the paint and the clay on the sneaker and the poison possibly being a prop and also possibly being planted. So here's her photo again. I don't know if you guys can really see it. I only noticed that this shoe was removed, but I did see these little specks here as well. It's not coming out really well here, but when you look at the actual photo, it looks like very glittery, very colored. Again, here's the typed message on the computer. Definitely could have been somebody else. We have the notes on her notebook. Like I mentioned, it was in green ink. It's definitely not a math problem. I'm guessing, of course, these are other schools, and this could be scores from football games. These could be the betting odds. And then the pen, the bottle of poison, which we now know was empty. No traces of actual poison in there either. The hammer time keychain and the $100 bill. Is that something on here? I'm not sure if that's something. And then, of course, for the school photo, we noticed that the clock said 10:10, and then according to the security cam footage and the report, that is when she fell. And we also made sure that the 5 suspects are included in this list of all the people who weren't there for the photo. There is another name, Marilyn Roberts, who I didn't see in any documents so far, so I'm not sure if that's just a random person who was sick that day, maybe. Or, you never know, could be someone important. We'll just have to see. All right, well, now why don't we just go and read the newspaper. Local teen dead in apparent S. 18-year-old Jamie Banks was found dead Friday morning, having appeared to take her own life by leaping from a 6th-story window of her school, though foul play has not been ruled out. Police say the body of the East Verona High School senior was found immediately by another student, the estimated time of death to be 10:10 a.m. Banks was described by friends, classmates, and family members as well-liked and mature. EVHS student TJ Wellsinger says she was the kind of girl who was always into something. The 18-year-old was described by faculty members as a well-behaved and deeply curious student. Typing teacher Mr. Keaton recalls, "It was a pleasure to see her face in class every day. Jamie will be missed." Banks maintained a 3.5 grade point average and was a valued member of the school newspaper. Friends and teachers remember her making ambitious plans for college. In addition to fine scholastic work, she was a gifted young actress, previously appearing in school play productions of Peter and the Wolf and Grease at Pierce Elementary School and Dalton Junior High. The night before her death, Banks played Juliet in East Verona's production of Romeo and Juliet. Friends recall how deeply immersed Banks was in her work as an actor. She took her acting very seriously. A bad review she received in a school paper really upset her, says Mr. Keaton. Co-star Olivia Underwood, who served as Banks' understudy for the role of Juliet, remembers Banks as a very gifted actress. "She inspired me with her trying," and adds, "Jamie worked so hard to play Juliet. She tried so hard to pull it off. Her effort was so admirable." Police are engaged in an ongoing investigation regarding the apparent S. "In cases like this, we always want to make sure we're not missing something," says Police Detective Roland Sherman. Detective Sherman provided little specifics. "We can confirm that we did find an S note, but the contents are confidential and will remain so. The veteran detective is determined to conduct a complete investigation," and added, "Let's just say there's a lot of work to be done before we can close the case." I mean, they closed it. And then we have a backside, which doesn't look like it's a continuation. I guess I'll just start reading from here. Closer look, star running backs disappointing finish. Fans, coaches, and teammates are left stumped by Johnny Rocca's performance in his Friday night state championship game. The Spartans' 3-touchdown loss to the Colts came as a huge shock not only to East Verona's dedicated fans, but the high school football fans around the state who have followed the career of senior Johnny Rocca. Rocca is in his third consecutive year being voted All-State, and many expected the star running back to lead the Spartans to an easy victory. Instead, fans at Jefferson County Stadium witnessed the worst game of Rocca's career. He carried the ball 27 times for a net yardage of -1 and fumbled 4 times. Ouch. He was also flagged 5 times for unsportsmanlike conduct before getting ejected. Ooh, something must have been going on. Earlier this season, when asked about scholarship offers from USC, Stanford, and Boston College during a local TV morning show, the handsome running back blushed and said his only hope was to make everyone in Verona proud. It's unlikely his Friday night performance achieved that goal. Late in the game, the angry crowd began chanting, "We want Russell!" a demand for Rocca to be replaced by his backup running back, Emmanuel Russell. When asked about his poor performance, a stunned Rocca could only shake his head. Is it Rocca or Roca? I think Roca, right? Like mocha? Okay, the only thing Roca had to say about the dreadful performance was, "I just felt really empty out there, like I was all alone. I couldn't focus. It was really loud and the pressure, it was too high." All right, so something must have been bugging him. I don't know what. We guess we'll have to see. Then we got some cars. Look at these prices from 1992. Mustang was $18,000 back then? All right, well, next we have the school paper. So this is the newspaper released that day, November 20th. Banks bombs and Romeo and Juliet. Robert Romero. So he is the other thespian, which explains that weird pose he had in his photo. East Verona High School's drama productions have always been something to look forward to. Even when they struggle to find the talent necessary to fully bring to production to life, the plays typically make up for, in heart, what the amateur actors lack in pure talent. Ouch. This year's production of Romeo and Juliet, Shakespeare's classic tale of adolescent love gone tragically wrong, is a sad exception. This production has the talent but lacks heart. More specifically, it lacks a Juliet with the heart needed to gain the audience's empathy. Actress Jamie Banks has already demonstrated her ability to tackle complex theatrical roles. We've seen her in the last year's production of The Little Shop of Horrors, as well as other plays. But Juliet is a role that requires more than a memorizer of lines. It requires an empathetic figure to guide us into the play's moral center, and Jamie Banks isn't up to the task. Without that, nothing in Romeo and Juliet can work, and it didn't. Robert Romero delivers a superb performance as Romeo, giving us all the wide-eyed infatuation of a teenager in the grips of young love. And the production designers deserve kudos for admirably turning the auditorium into 14th century Italy. But without a warm Juliet, Romeo might as well have been acting with a mannequin. In a role that demands warmth, Banks provided a Juliet straight from Antarctica. It seems pretty clear after seeing her dazzle us with performances in the past that we finally found her weakness, playing a real person with a real heart. But then again, maybe having a real heart is something Banks simply can't fake. Ooh, was she not a good person? I thought she was, she received pretty good praise from everybody. Who wrote this? Craig Zimmerman? I think that's the end of that section. Okay, then we have some other details about the school, 70th annual career day, upcoming games and events, Wayne's World costume contest. Nothing really sticks out here. Gift certificate for Blockbuster. All right, state championship preview. So this was on the 20th. I see. And the newspaper was written the next day. So that game must have been that night. That probably explains why he was off of his game. So Roca must have been the one who found the body too. Did they say that already? No, it says Robert Romero discovered the body. Anyways, it could have been because of her death that Roca was off his game. Maybe, we'll see. All right, state championship review, Spartans versus Colts by Joey Ferrari, the cool guy. It's the game Spartan football fans have been waiting for all season long. It all comes down to this, the state championship game. We've got two familiar faces in the East Verona Spartans and Winchester Colts. They were the top 2 ranked teams in the state coming into the season, and they're still the 2 best teams at the end of it. This game will come down, as it so often does in high school football, to the running game. On display are 2 of the best running backs in the country. Of course, we have Johnny Roca, our 4-year varsity starter, 3-time All-State and first-team All-American in this, his senior year. Lining up deep for the Colts is Joseph Trotter, another first-team All-State running back who has racked up over 2,000 yards and 19 touchdowns during the regular season. It's easy to see why these 2 teams are facing each other in the championship, considering how hard they fought one another in the season opener. The Spartans nearly blew a 10-point lead with less than 2 minutes left when Johnny Roca infamously fumbled the ball right into the opposing team's hand for an easy defensive touchdown. Fortunately, the onside kick failed, and Johnny Roca held the ball on the following possession to get the win for the Spartans, despite failing to cover the spread. Just like the previous matchup, the Spartans are favored to win this game, but by a slightly smaller margin. As 3-point underdogs, the Colts have their work cut out for them. So I do want to check these 3 points match up with what's in that notebook. I expect to see a fantastic football game Friday night. Both teams are laden with Division I talent on both sides of the ball. Will the Spartans defeat the Colts and cover the spread? Or will Winchester pull off the ultimate upset against our beloved East Verona Spartans? Of course, I'm not a betting man, but if I were to wager on the outcome of this matchup, I'd put every dollar I have on the Spartans to win the game and cover the spread in the high-scoring offensive shootout. I'm going to check this notebook really quick, and this just made me think of betting and the $100 bill that was found on her. Was she trying to go undercover? Was she trying to place a bet? So their high school is the Spartans, and I need to look for Colts. And we have Colts, the first one. So 3.5, and then it was a 3-point win. Oh, this was the opener, the opening game. So what is this? The 4 quarters. Is this fumbles? So the 4th quarter, you had 13 fumbles. Talk to Joey, see what he says. So this Joey is Joey Ferrari. I'm guessing he is running the gambling racket. I don't know. Even though he was like, I'm not a betting man. So I'll put a note here about betting just so I know where to reference if I need to check something related to the gambling. All right, and our last sheet here has some latest updates. The pep rally at 10, which is probably when they also took the photo. Wrestling team car wash, ongoing maintenance. The 5th floor girls' bathroom will continue to be out of service for another week. And they were on the 6th floor though. Smoking area. There's a smoking area in high school? Oh my gosh. Students were allowed to smoke? I guess it's 18 years old? I don't know. Early dismissal on Friday. All right. Holiday food drive. Don't think anything suspicious here. Editor Craig Zimmerman. Oh, so the editor is the one who wrote that article about Jamie. Major investigative expose coming next week by Jamie Banks. I wanted to apologize to all the readers who noticed I hadn't published my regular monthly investigative report in October. I'm currently concluding research on a huge expose that is sure to shock everyone at this school along with the entire Verona community. Ooh, that's what probably got you in trouble. It will be the most mind-blowing story of my 4 years of investigative journalism here at The Voice. The Voice, oh, the Verona Voice. This expose will make the investigation about Mr. Griffin stealing wooden ice cream spoons from the cafeteria look like a joke. Stay tuned to next week's paper and prepare to view some of your most revered East Verona Spartans in a whole new light. And then what are you doing for Thanksgiving break? Anne Riley will probably spend most of her time on college applications and with family. Joey Ferrari. Road trip, baby. Johnny and I are heading to Atlantic City. I have family there, so he's pretty close with Johnny. Johnny being, of course, Johnny Roca, the running back. James Lowe, I'll still be celebrating our championship victory over the Colts. Ooh, that one didn't quite work out. Judy McCrae, I'll catch up on some reading, still haven't finished Bridges in Madison County. Okay, so that's it for all the documents and photographs. I kind of have some inklings of what's going on now. I think the expose could be about the gambling that was happening. It's possible that Joey Ferrari was running it or involved in it somehow, and it seems like he's pretty close with Johnny Roca. But Roca had a really bad game on the day after Jamie died, so I don't know. We'll see. Next, why don't we just start going through these witness statements? First up, we have Principal Janice Dowling. So this is taken on the day of, just a little bit after. Today is the worst day of my 17-year teaching career. I'm overwhelmed with grief, but I thoroughly understand the need to conduct a full investigation. We canceled third period today for an all-school pep rally because the football team is playing in the state championship tonight. Third period starts at 10 a.m. We took a few minutes gathering students on the bleachers so Marilyn Roberts could take an all-school picture. Okay, that's explaining why she wasn't in the photo. We had just finished at around 10 after when Robert Romero came running into the gym screaming for help. I asked Miss Hawkeye to watch over the students, while Mr. Griffin, Mr. Collier, Mr. Carrier, Miss Stason, and I ran out to see what happened. That's when I saw Jamie on the ground. Sophie Sunday and Olivia Underwood were near her body. Oh. They didn't catch that on the camera. Miss Stason immediately checked for vital signs and attempted to provide medical attention, but it was clear she was gone. I asked Robert Romero what happened. He says he was washing his hands in the first floor bathroom when he heard a scream and a loud cracking noise. He ran outside, saw Jamie lying on the ground, and immediately ran to the gym to notify us. Alright, let me just take a note there because that is apparently his story. As I looked up and saw the open window on the 6th floor above us, it became clear what had happened. I was trying to determine which room had the open window, and as I realized it was the newspaper room, the emotions overwhelmed me. I started getting lightheaded and was about to sit down on the ground when I noticed everyone staring at me. So I paused and I took a deep breath. As I told Mr. Griffin to go up to the 6th floor to guard the newspaper room door until the police or I got there. I told the students to sit down by the building and stay there until I returned for them. I told Miss Stason to remain with the body and make sure no one interfered in any way until I returned. I told Mr. Collier to go to the main office to dial the police. And I asked Mr. Carrier to walk with me back to the gym just in case I fainted. So Mr. Carrier carried her, Mr. Collier called the police, Mr. Stason stayed with the body. What about Mr. Griffin? He flew up to the 6th floor. When I got to the gym, I announced that everyone in the gym was safe, but there had been an accident and we all needed to remain there until further notice. I placed staff members at all the exits. Mr. Griffin says the door was locked when he got there, so he just guarded the door. It was empty when I opened it for the police, and there's only one way in or out. We have a security camera pointed toward the back lot where she fell. I'll get you a printout during the time of the incident. I've also asked Marilyn Roberts to develop the class picture she took as soon as possible. I'll review the photo in an hour or so when it's ready, and I'll let you know anyone who was in the school at that time but missing from the photo. So the principal wrote on that photo, I guess. I know Jamie was an above average student. She wrote for the paper and was in drama. I saw her performance last night and she was amazing, but regretfully, I didn't know her very well. So the principal thought she did a good job. If you want more insight into her, I'd recommend getting a statement from our guidance counselor, Dr. Gelding. He heads up the newspaper. You also might want to talk to her drama teacher, Mr. Preakness. She was playing Juliet in the school play, so he must have been working closely with her. The students love Mr. Preakness, especially the girls. Oh gosh. If there's anything else I can help with, please let me know. So I just made a random note that the principal thought Jamie did fine. I mean, there must have been some other intention behind writing that article. Also just made a note that Dr. Gelding, one of our suspects, heads the newspaper. I'm sure we'll get lots more information about him. Next, we have Robert Romero, who I believe is the one who found Jamie's body. I was the first one to find Jamie's body. Seeing her laying there was a horrible experience. I'd never seen anything like that in my life. I'm still really shaken. Oh yeah, I forgot he's the one who played Romeo, so maybe I'll just read this a little more dramatically. Seeing her laying there was a horrible experience. I've never seen anything like that in my life. I'm still really shaken up about the whole thing. I was in the 1st floor bathroom and lost track of time because I kept reading Craig's review over and over again. Best review I've ever gotten. Ouch. So you didn't care about all the crap they were saying about Jamie? But then I realized I was late for the pep rally, so I was rushing to wash my hands and leave when I heard her. It was about 10 minutes after the bell rang for 3rd period, so it was probably about 10:10 a.m. That's at least consistent. This interview was at the same day, so I guess he wouldn't have that information, so that is consistent. But again, he's not a suspect, but you know. It was a weird sound. I heard a woman scream and then something hitting the ground really hard. The noise came from right outside of the bathroom, so I rushed out the door and around the corner to the exit to help. I got there pretty quick before anyone else. I kneeled down beside Jamie. It was a surreal moment since it was exactly like we had rehearsed so many times in Act 5, Scene 3. Oh my gosh. That's all you can think about right now? Only this time, we weren't acting. She was perfectly motionless, no noise, no movement, just laying there, dead. You're the dead in the heart. And the article said Jamie had no heart. This guy has no heart. It took me a moment to realize I needed to get help, and everybody was in the gym, so I ran over there and got Mrs. Darling and a bunch of other teachers and brought them back to her. I can understand why she might lose it with all the pressure she was under. She was playing the lead female in the school play, and that's more than enough pressure for one person. You can take my word for that. The amount of work and time you have to put into theater is incredible. The night before the opening performance, Jamie was up until midnight working on the sunset on her set background. I think she even used her own money to buy paint because I heard Mr. Preakness say something about paying her back. Oh, whoa. Would it get that dark? Would Unsolved Case Files get that dark? Just a quick note here that the paint on her shoes could be from this work right here, painting the sunset. I'll have to check those colors again, see what they were. And then, of course, this really creepy line, paying her back. So the only reason why I thought that is because the principal made that line about how all the girls are like crazy about him. But this also reminds me of the $100 bill that was found. So maybe that was Mr. Preakness who gave her $100 to reimburse for the paint. Right? All right, I'm dropping the voice. She was also writing for the newspaper and had a big expose coming up that people were talking about. Everybody was trying to guess who it was about. I don't think they will cancel Saturday's performance because I have incredible chemistry with Jamie's understudy. Olivia and I have like a cosmic connection. Okay, I think I have to use the voice, right? Olivia and I have like a cosmic connection, and you can feel it when we rehearse. Mr. Preakness knows I wanted Olivia to be my Juliet, but he did not take kindly to my creative input on the matter. I believe we should probably donate a portion of the proceeds from Saturday's performance to Jamie's family, or maybe the S Hotline or something. As the lead male for the production, it's my responsibility to take charge on initiatives like that, so I'm going to ask Mr. Preakness if he can do it. And take initiative by asking someone else to do it. So just one more note here that Robert wanted to work with Olivia and not Jamie. All right, next we have Craig Zimmerman, who looks either very distraught or just like he's not thinking about anything at all. So this interview also the same day, but just later in the afternoon. His writing is so small. I was sitting next to Liz Adams at the pep rally when Robert Romero came running through the doors and Mrs. Dowling and a few teachers ran out there after him. We had no idea what was going on at first. Within a few minutes, there was a buzz among the crowd that someone had jumped. I started frantically looking around the room for Jamie, but I was already worried about how she was reacting to the horrible review I wrote. Oh yeah, that's who you are. You're the editor of the newspaper. Then I heard someone say her name. At first, I didn't want to accept it. I hoped that somehow I heard wrong. But when Principal Dowling approached me and said the police might need to talk to me about the review, I knew it was real. I was ushered into Principal Dowling's office with a few other students. We all sat there for an hour in silence, stunned. Jamie was one of my closest friends. Then why did you write such a horrible article about her? We had our ups and downs, and it was upsetting to me that we couldn't be... Okay. We had our ups and downs, and it was upsetting to me that we couldn't be more than friends. But I'm horrified to think she killed herself over what I wrote. I feel so guilty and ashamed. Okay, so obviously he was jealous that she was in Romeo and Juliet with Robert Romero. I even met with Dr. Gelding's second period before the pep rally. He pulled me out of Miss Marston's class to talk about the review, and together we came up with a plan to try to fix the mistake. Gelding was always looking out for Jamie. But it was too late. All I wanted was for her to give us a chance. We got along so well. She said her heart belonged to another man, but she couldn't reveal who it was yet, or others could get hurt. It's not like Jamie at all to have an affair, so I assumed she made it all up to blow me off. Affair? Affair would mean she'd have to be with someone already. That's why I was so upset. It's why I wrote that horrible review. Ah, there you go. At least he admitted it. I thought she was the one, and now I'm quite certain my words have killed her. Ah, well, I mean, you kind of do feel bad for him. We're here to prove that it wasn't you. Definitely some other stuff going on. Oh my gosh, how do you spell jealousy? Is it jealousy? Alright, so I'm just taking a note that the bad review was because of jealousy. And I think that's it. So let's move on. Our last witness, Joey Ferrari. I'm definitely not gonna do an Italian accent. As far as I know, I was the last one in the school newspaper room before Jamie Banks jumped out of the window today. It was first period and I had study hall in the cafeteria. Mr. Griffin is my teacher there and he lets me go up to the newspaper room if I have a pass from Dr. Gelding to finish up an article or work on clip art or whatever. I signed out of study hall as soon as it started and was in the newspaper room within probably 4 to 5 minutes after the start of first period. When I got there, the door was locked and the lights were out. Since I'm a senior on the newspaper staff, I have a key to the room, so I let myself in and the door shut and automatically locked behind me. I always work on the computer that's on the right side of the room, second from the back, so that's the one I got onto. Alright, so we'll have to double check which computer is the one that has the note. It took a few minutes to boot up and pretty soon I was logged in and working on my outline for the story about the game tonight, which is the one about the preview of the game. You never know how a game will unfold, but when it comes to Spartan football, I usually have a pretty good idea about the outcome before the game even starts. So I write my articles beforehand and then after the game, I plug in a few game stats and I'm good to go. That room gets pretty hot at that time of day. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's the sun or maybe the heat's broken or something. But I opened the window to let some cool air in. Okay, that probably explains how it was opened. I lost track of time and suddenly it was 8:50 and I only had 5 minutes to sign back into study hall, so I saved my outline on a floppy but didn't shut down the computer. I was in a rush, but I'm positive I turned off the light and shut the door behind me. Not sure though. I think I left the window open. When I was a sophomore, someone propped open the door once and some jerks vandalized a bunch of equipment. So Dr. Gelding is really strict about us locking the door behind us ever since. I barely got back to study hall on time and was in Italian class until the pep rally, so I'm not sure when Jamie went in the newspaper room. Jamie and I both wrote for the school newspaper and I've known her since 8th grade, but we weren't super close outside of that. I know she also asked Gelding to be editor this year, but for some reason he chose Craig instead of either of us. Finally, I like to go on the record with my prediction for the game tonight. Oh my gosh. While these two teams are known for their high-powered offenses and East Verona is favored to win by a few points, I predict it's going to be a long night for the Spartans, and the Colts will walk away with the championship. How would you know that? Roca could have been in on it and through the game. So Joey's not a suspect, but he definitely did a lot of stuff that wasn't great. Like opening the window, possibly leaving the door unlocked, leaving the computer logged in. Also somehow knew they were gonna lose. He's pretty tight with Roca. They could have been working together on this. This could be the story that Jamie was trying to break. We'll see. So before I go to the suspects, I have to remember that my objective for objective 1 is to prove that someone was in the room with Jamie. So far we know that Joey was in there, he had the key, but he possibly left it unlocked. He also left the window open if somebody wanted to climb in through there. Who knows? But at first I was thinking like she never had to be in the room. If the window was open, someone could have just placed her on the floor. But then that would have been caught on security footage. So for sure she fell from that window. So she was in the room. Now just find out when that was and who else was in there. And for sure I think someone else typed that message. So another question that comes to mind is about the bottle of poison. If somebody also planted that on her body, who would have access to that bottle of poison? But I don't think I have to go that far quite yet. I just need to prove that someone else was in that room. Also, I did want to find out which computer it was. So he said that he logs into one of them on the right. Let me go back. So it was the right side of the room, second from the back. So that's this one, but they all look the same. This one has other stuff on it. When I look here, there is nothing on it here, but there's nothing distinguishable about this computer. So this one has like 2 buttons. This one has other papers on it. This is a totally different computer, so it had to be this computer with just a single bar here, which definitely matches this bar. So I'll just make a note that it's the computer that Joey left on for sure. So sometimes you can solve it without going through all the documents. I don't have any strong leads quite yet. And since it's one of the suspects who has to be in the room, I probably need to find out more about the suspects. So I am going to go through all the documents, I guess. Or I can try to examine the photos again, because in the past games, sometimes the photos have the answer for the first objective and you need to use the magnifying glass to figure it out. Or something is just kind of hidden in plain sight. So is anything in here? Maybe I'm gonna look at the original photos. So looking at the original photos, the specs on the shoe, sorry, let me go there. So you can't really tell on the screen, but from this photo, it's definitely like orange, yellow, red, colors of the sunset. So this is from her painting the sunset. Still doesn't explain why her shoe is off. Maybe I can focus on these photos. So this one, I just noticed that it's kind of like erased, especially right here where it says Jamie was investigating. And I think this word is expose. Marilyn's charged with the class picture. Yeah, I don't know. Don't know if this gives any info. This is at 11:02 and the door is open. I don't know if this is after the police open the door. Is there something with a lock? I don't know. All right, let's look at this photo. This is taken at 11:04. Okay, I don't know. I'm just gonna have to move on and read the rest of the documents. All right, so lastly, we have our 5 suspects, and we'll just go in the order that they came in, starting with Sophie Sunday. So here's a picture, really bright red lipstick. So some details about her: scars, JCR inside, a heart on ankle. Student, drives Jeep Wrangler. Vin, what's this? Oh gosh. I see what they're doing here. Very stereotypical. All right, let's look at her statement. Right before third period, I spilled Tab all over my sweater. Tab, for those of you who don't know, is a soda, which I think they still have. Obviously, you don't see it everywhere, but yeah. Anyways, I spilled Tab all over my sweater. I was really upset and wanted to do something about it before it dried on there and left a big stain. It took me a while because I spilled so much of it and I was crying. I heard a scream and something hit the ground. So I ran to the window to look out. I had mascara in my eyes, so it was kind of hard to see, but I could still make out that it was Jamie Banks. Okay, so her excuse for not being in the photo is this spilled soda. Then I saw Robert Romero run over to her, kneel down beside her, and then take off. I ran down to see if she was okay, and by the time I got there, Olivia Underwood was standing near the body. Okay, so according to her, Olivia was there before she was. All right, well, let's look at her statement. I was one of the first people to get to Jamie's body this morning. I was in the second floor bathroom when I heard her fall. We had just finished up second period and the pep rally was starting, but I had a major problem. I had just read something in The Voice that made me laugh to spill Tab all over my sweater. Just my luck, a huge stain on the day of the big game. I wonder what made her laugh. So I was in the bathroom when I heard a scream and loud thump. I went over to the window and saw her body lying there. At first, I wasn't sure what I was looking at because I had been crying about the stain and had mascara in my eye. Then I saw Robert Romero run up to her, and that's when I decided to go downstairs and see what's going on. Olivia Underwood had just gotten there when I arrived, and she was just standing next to the body. Olivia looked like she was going to throw up. Oh, she was crying in her photo, which we will get to. I didn't know Jamie well because I spent most of my time with friends on the cheerleading squad or with my boyfriend Johnny, and she's more into grunge music and acting, I think. It really makes me sad to think about this. I hope it doesn't affect Johnny in the game tonight. Why would she think that it would affect Johnny? Coming through in a high-stakes game is an important step for his career, and I don't want to see anything or anyone get in the way of it. Okay, let's move on to her interview. All right, I'm gonna have to read both parts. State your name for our records, please. Me? I'm Sophie Sunday. Sophie, do you know why you're here? Because I saw the body? Sort of. We're questioning everyone who wasn't at the pep rally to find out if they have any more information. There was a picture taken of everyone in the gym at the same time when Jamie fell. You weren't in it. Was Johnny in the picture? Johnny Roca? What makes you ask that? Well, when I wrote my statement, I didn't say he was with me, but he was. In the girls' bathroom? Yeah. Is Johnny going to get in trouble for this? What were you two doing in there? Well, I asked Johnny to wait outside the bathroom for me while I tried to clean up the stain I'd gotten on my sweater. Can you believe that happened on the day of the big game? Anyway, boys will be boys, and Johnny wouldn't stay put. He snuck into the bathroom and we started kissing. Please don't spread that around. I don't want him to get in trouble for being in there. He's got the championship to focus on. He'd only been there in a moment, and that's when we heard a fall. There was a scream and a loud thump. It was awful. And what happened then? We ran over to the window and looked down. She was just lying there. I had some mascara in my eyes, so I couldn't really tell what I was seeing at first. That's when I saw Robert Romero run over to her, and so I decided to go down to see what was going on, or if I could help or something. Could you tell it was Jamie from the window? Not right away, but yes. Why didn't Johnny go with you? Sophie? I told him not to. I was afraid he'd get in trouble for being in the girls' bathroom when he was supposed to be at the pep rally. You seem to be very protective of Johnny. Well, of course, he's my boyfriend and I'd do anything for him. I don't want anything to stand in the way of his career. Anything, huh? Would you lie for him? Johnny has nothing to hide. You didn't answer my question. Would you lie to protect Johnny? There's no reason to, so no. Are you aware of Johnny being involved in any sports betting? Betting? He wouldn't do that. Johnny says he hates gambling, and anyone who says otherwise about him is a liar. You're sure? Positive. Did it bother you that Johnny and Jamie were close? No, because they weren't close at all. She's not his type. They dated a few years ago though, right? Are you aware of that? Of course I'm aware of it. I know everything there is to know about Johnny, but that was ages ago and it meant nothing to him. There's a rumor that Jamie was in a secret relationship. Maybe it was with Johnny? That's absurd. Not really. I mean, maybe she actually is his type. But you're the coach's daughter, and it'd be better for his football career to date you, even if his heart belonged to someone else. No way! I can't do this. No way! Listen, I know what Johnny's up to 24/7, and he certainly hasn't been having any secret relationship with Jamie. He's my boyfriend, no one else's, and I'll do everything in my power to make sure it stays that way, including getting rid of the competition. There is no competition! Okay. Let's get back to what happened when you went out to see the body. Did you immediately know who it was? Yeah, I already knew it was Jamie from the bathroom window before I even got down there. She was in pretty bad shape, and I still had some mascara in my eyes, but I knew it was her. How far would you say you were from the victim? I don't know, maybe 3 to 4 feet? Who else was there at the body? Olivia Underwood. It was just me and her until Mrs. Dowling and all the teachers got there. Is there anything else you want to add? No, nothing. Just please don't tell anyone Johnny was in the girls' bathroom with me. Can you promise me? I'll be in touch if you have any more questions. Okay, that kind of gave a lot of info that I was sort of piecing together, but this detective somehow knows all this other stuff that's happening. So I guess the main thing here is that Johnny and Jamie dated for 2 years. And maybe they were having a secret relationship. And that kind of makes sense with what she was saying to Craig, that she can't reveal who it is because Johnny is in a relationship with Sophie. All right, well, let's move on to Johnny. So there's a picture of our star running back right here. Johnny Cornelius Roca, 6'2", black stallion across his back. Nothing else really sticks out. He has a Ford Mustang. Don't know. That's funny. I mean, who knows the VIN off the top of their head or even keeps it with them? I would have to look it up. All right, let's look at his statement. I walked my girlfriend, Sophie Sunday, to the girls' second floor bathroom at the beginning of third period and waited for her just outside the door. I thought she'd only be a minute or two, but it took forever because she was trying to get a soda stain off her sweater, so I went in to keep her company. Anyway, there was suddenly a scream and a loud thud. We ran over to the window and saw Jamie laying there on the ground. I ran back to the pep rally to alert others of what I'd seen, and Sophie went down to check on her. Okay, pretty much lines up. But this says Robert is the one who runs over to the gym and gets everybody. So why is he saying he ran back to the pep rally to alert others? Or maybe he was also running back to the pep rally to alert them. I don't know. Okay, anyways, let's move on. So he doesn't have a statement, he just has the interview. Please state your name for the record. Johnny Cornelius Roca. How well did you know Jamie Banks? We had a few classes together, and we actually dated a few summers ago, but it didn't last. Did you get back together? Like in secret? You mean like, did I cheat on Sophie? She'd kill me if she ever found out I was cheating on her. And her dad's my coach, so this is Miss Sunday? Yeah, Sophie Sunday. And I didn't mean to sound like I would cheat on her. I wouldn't. I haven't. Sophie would do anything for me, and there's nothing going on between me and Jamie. Johnny, they took a picture of everybody at the pep rally the same time Jamie fell. You weren't in it. Why not? I was on my way. I just got held up. Where? In the bathroom on the second floor. I was with Sophie. Is that a girl's bathroom? It was just Sophie and me. Everyone else was at the pep rally. Yes, it's the girl's bathroom. What were you doing? You know, fooling around. We were kissing. No big deal. Let's back up a little bit. How did you two wind up in there when everyone else was in the gym? We were headed to the gym, but she was crying her face off about some stain on her sweater that you couldn't even see. And she asked me to wait for her outside the girls' bathroom so she could go try and wash it off or something. But she was in there forever, and eventually the halls emptied out. So I went in and checked on her. What floor was the bathroom located on? Second floor, right next to the south parking lot where Jamie fell. Did you hear Miss Banks fall to her death? Yeah, it was hard to miss. She let out this loud scream. What did you do when you heard it? We both ran over to the window and saw her there. Sophie went to go check on her, but I had the game tonight and I was supposed to be at the pep rally, so I just ran around and snuck into the gym to join everybody there. I told a few people what I'd seen and it spread pretty quick. How chivalrous of you. What? Never mind. I understand Jamie was about to publish an expose in the newspaper. What do you think it was about? How the heck should I know? Griffin was probably stealing spoons again. She had a notebook full of your stats and the spreads of every game of the season. A lot of girls take my stats, and there's a lot more women into betting than you think. It doesn't prove Joey and I were up to anything, and it sure as heck doesn't make me a criminal. Oh, what a slip up. Uh-huh. Who's Joey? Joey Ferrari? Yeah, he takes all the bets in school. You couldn't throw a game without Joey knowing. Even teachers place bets with him. Girls too. Maybe you should talk to him. He'll confirm nothing's going on. So I did piece that together correctly. Maybe I will. Mr. Ferrari was at the pep rally though. He's not a suspect. A suspect for what? Skipping a pep rally? Going in the girl's bathroom? No, a suspect for murder. Murder? What murder? Jamie jumped out a window. That isn't murder. No, but it sure would be murder if someone pushed her and made it look like S. Someone who was just about to be exposed for betting on their own football games. Heck, if that got out, it'd ruin your football career for good. Look, I have no idea what you're talking about, and I really got to get back to the team. The bus to Jefferson County Stadium leaves in less than an hour, and as I said to Sophie, I can confirm that I was nowhere near Jamie when it happened. Ah yes, Sophie, your loyal girlfriend who'd do anything for you, even lie to cover up for you, or worse. That'll be all for now. Good luck tonight. We'll be watching you, Mr. Roca. Okay, so I think that probably explains why he was off his game, because he was nervous about being a suspect for murder. So this just kind of confirms a lot of things I was suspecting about Joey kind of taking all the bets, him possibly being involved in throwing games. His whole alibi relies on Sophie, who has a motive to lie for him. So it's not looking good. Not looking good for him. All right, let's move on. Next, we have Benjamin Gelding. So he's married. Nothing else really stands out to me. He is the guidance counselor. He has 2 cars, Chevy Corvette, Ford Aerostar, and he's the first one to ride a VIN. All right, let's read his statement. In order for me to leave on time for the game, in order for me to leave on time for the game, I had to, oh my gosh, what is this? Forgo? I hate trying to read cursive writing. Let me start over. In order for me to leave on time for the game, I had to forego the 3rd period pep rally so I could work on some letters of recommendation that needed to be submitted before the end of the day. I was in my office working on those from the beginning of 3rd period until I heard sirens outside. That's when I walked to the gym and found out what happened. All right, kind of a weak alibi, but we'll see. So the individuals who can confirm his whereabouts are the principal and the editor. Oh, I kind of glazed over this in the other 2. Let me go there really quickly. Yeah, so for Sophie, she's just saying that Olivia was by the body and that Janice Dowling came out real quick. That doesn't really confirm that she was in the 2nd floor bathroom, though. And of course, she's not going to write that Johnny was there and can confirm her whereabouts. But Johnny lists Sophie because he doesn't care about telling people he was in the bathroom, the girls' bathroom, that is. All right, so he's saying that the principal can confirm his whereabouts. Also, Craig, who is the editor of the school newspaper. So Dr. Gelding does have a witness statement. We'll go through that first. It's very difficult to put thoughtful words together right now, but I fully understand the need for an investigation into what could cause such a seemingly normal young woman to take her own life. I've been Jamie's guidance counselor for 4 years here at East Verona High School. I also help run the school newspaper that she writes for. Jamie is an amazing girl who gets good grades, stays out of trouble, and seems to get along with everyone. I took my wife and kids to see her performance last night, and she was incredible. It really begs the question as to why a young girl who appeared to have everything going for her would do something like this. Well, I'm not sure, but everything is not what it seems with Jamie for 2 reasons you should be aware of. First, Jamie had been struggling with bipolar tendencies for years. Jamie has been meeting with me every few months over the past 2 years for manic depression. She was originally referred to me for this issue after she broke down in tears during a vocabulary quiz. During her dark times, she expressed ideations to me on a number of occasions, including thoughts about how she would do it. I should have referred her to outside counseling. I just thought we had it under control. I couldn't have been more wrong. Second, Jamie was involved in a secret, forbidden relationship. Jamie told me one of the reasons Mr. Preakness gave her the part of Juliet was because she told him she was presently in a forbidden relationship and it helped her relate to the character. So I guess Mr. Preakness knew about this also? She told me she had to keep this relationship a secret or a lot of people would get hurt. Jamie was an investigative reporter and very sharp, so I doubt we'll ever know who it was. I talked to Craig Zimmerman this morning. He's the young man who wrote the negative review about her performance. Turns out he asked her to be his girlfriend on Tuesday, and she told him she didn't have feelings for him like that. I guess that review was his way of working through rejection. You might consider talking to Johnny Roca. I believe they dated for a short time a few years ago. He's with Coach's daughter now. I asked everyone who works on the school paper, and Joey Ferrari was the last person in the newspaper room before Jamie. He might have some clues about the room that would be helpful, like leaving the door wide open. I'd also encourage you to speak with Mr. Preakness. He gets very close with students, especially the female leads in his plays, although we've never had any official incidents regarding that issue here at the school. My hope is that we can address the issue completely and swiftly to help bring closure to the 315 East Verona students and staff she left behind. It's not going to be easy for our school to get through this, but I'm willing to give it my all. Okay, doctor. Next, we have his interview. Please state your full name before we get started. Dr. Benjamin Johann Gelding. Do you know why we brought you in here? Well, I assume it has to do with Jamie. I'm guessing you'd like more insight into her mental state? That's part of it. You're also one of only a few people in the school who are not in the school photo taken when she died. It looks like S, but we're still investigating whether anyone was in the newsroom with her when it happened. You think someone was in the room with her? That's a shock. Well, I'm quite sure Joey Ferrari was the last one in the room because I spoke with every member of the newspaper and asked them. We've spoken to Joey. He was in the gym when it happened. Then I guess I don't know. Only the seniors had keys to that room. Craig Zimmerman, Joey, Marilyn Roberts, and Jamie. That's it. Well, Zimmerman and Joey were both in the school photo, and Marilyn took it. But we couldn't find you in there, Dr. Gelding. Do you have a key to that room? Me? Yeah, well, of course. But I haven't been in that room all day. Are you sure? Certain. I left my pad of hall passes in there last night. I didn't pick them up this morning, and the police haven't let me back in the room to get them. Why'd you leave a pad of hall passes in the newspaper room? It wasn't on purpose. We had our weekly meeting after school yesterday. That's when the students pitch their stories for next week, and I write to assignments on the chalkboard. I brought my pad to write passes for anyone who wants to get out of study hall to work on articles. Like Ferrari? Yeah. And I left the passes in the room by accident. Jamie could have let anyone in the room though, since she has a key. Why do you think she wasn't alone? We're just exploring all possibilities. Was Jamie dating anyone? She had said something to me recently about some kind of secret affair, but she never said who it was with. She was a private person, but would share things like that when we were alone in the newspaper room together. Let's back up. Were you alone in your office all morning? No. I had a session with Craig Zimmerman before the pep rally regarding the awful review he wrote about Jamie. I sensed hidden tension I needed to resolve. Seems he'd opened up to her about his amorous feelings on Tuesday, and she didn't feel the same. I believe he wrote that review with a broken heart. We talked in my office second period and made a plan for him to resolve the situation. We were done near the end of second period. Near the end of second period? Can you be more specific? Well, yes, actually I can. Since I didn't have any passes, I had to walk him back to class. I probably got him there around 10 minutes before the bell. Around? Yes, I wanted to get back to my office, but the students in his class were really excited to show me what they were working on and begged me to come in and have a look. After I'd seen everything, the bell rang. The students went to the pep rally and I returned to my office. So you chose paperwork over a state championship pep rally? Odd choice. I had letters of recommendation to submit before the weekend and wanted to leave early for the game. I was in my office until I heard the sirens and went to the gym. Dr. Gelding, do you really believe Jamie Banks did this to herself? Sadly, I do. She was hiding a lot. Jamie struggled with bipolar tendencies for years. She'd been meeting with me every few months over the past couple of years for counseling. She confided in me that she'd thought about killing herself. I should have referred her to outside counseling, but I just thought I had it under control. She was about to publish an expose in the paper. What was it about? She wouldn't tell me. Do you know? We're not sure. We think it was about sports betting. Well, that would explain her secrecy. I probably shouldn't say this, but Joey takes all the bets in the school. He's known as the school bookie. Everyone knows, but we kind of look the other way. Don't you think it's suspicious for an investigative reporter to turn up dead just before publishing a big expose? I guess, but I also know about her bipolar disorder, so I don't have any doubt it was S. When you spend as many years as I have watching teenagers make one impulsive decision after the next, you realize sometimes nothing they do makes sense. Is this all you guys have? If there's more, please let me help sort it out. I appreciate your offer to lend a hand, Mr. Gelling, but at this point, I think we're done here. If you don't have anything else to add, we can let you go. I understand. Well, please do reach out to me if I can be of any help. I will certainly do that. Thank you for your time, Dr. Gelding. Okay, don't know if that gave me any information. He's sticking to his alibi. Alright, so just a few things I jotted down was the thing about the people who had the keys. Although, if Joey left the door open, then, anyone could have entered. Something about the hall passes. I don't know, maybe that was stolen and used. His whole alibi is that he just went back to his office after dropping off Craig because he pulled him aside second period to talk to him about the article. And then because he didn't have any passes, he had to walk him back to class. Okay, his alibi is not solid at all. No one can confirm that. Anyways, let's just move on. Okay, we got our last two suspects here, Olivia, the understudy, and Paul Preakness. She is crying in this photo and his eyes are red. Probably also from crying. Okay, anyways, let's start with Olivia. Don't know if anything really sticks out here. Let's just get to her statement. I was walking to the pep rally when I started feeling violently ill out of nowhere. I ran to the first floor girls' bathroom and got there just in time to puke my guts out in the toilet. I was really messed up and couldn't leave the bathroom for a pretty long time. Just as I was starting to gain my composure, I heard a terrible scream. I looked out the window to see Jamie just lying there, limp and lifeless. It was awful. I collected myself and ran down to see if there was anything I could do to help. Okay, she lists Sophie and Janice. Nothing else really going on here. Let's just move on. So she has a witness statement. I was the second person to get to Jamie's body. I think I might also be the last person to talk with her before she jumped. She and I have been working closely together on the school's production of Romeo and Juliet because she's Juliet and I'm her understudy. We also had typing class together right before she jumped. Our opening night for Romeo and Juliet was last night and it went okay, but Jamie got a really critical review in the school newspaper this morning. I thought it was a bit harsh, but honest. I asked Jamie about it and she seemed really bothered. Not angry or sad. She just seemed really deep in thought. I just assumed she was reconsidering whether she wanted to play Juliet. She seems like a better fit for Rosaline to me, but Mr. Preakness makes the casting decisions and you can't change his mind. She was quiet all through second period and I couldn't get anything out of her, so I let it go. I guess she wasn't totally out of it because she and Amber Wheaton were the only ones that got 100 on the caps lock test. Of course, we've been practicing those for a while and it wasn't hard. I got a 90. After the bell rang, I asked if she wanted to walk with me down to the pep rally. They were doing something for the football guys because of the championship match tonight. She just said she had to go take care of something in the newsroom. I asked what was going on and she said something like, "It's not something I can talk to you about yet." I was kind of surprised and a little hurt, but obviously it makes sense now. For what it's worth, I didn't think she did all that bad, but I'm confident Robert and I will be able to pick up where she left off. It's a tragedy, but the show must go on. At the very least, I'm sure we won't get another review like that from Craig. Sure won't. Alright, let's go to her interview. Can you please state your full name for the record, miss? Underwood. Olivia Claire Underwood. Do you know why you were brought in today? Well, I guess you want to know more about what happened to Jamie. That's right. We're trying to find out exactly what happened, so we're questioning everyone who wasn't in the gym when she fell. I see. Is Robert here too? Robert Romero? No, he was seen on surveillance video right after Jamie, so we're confident he couldn't have been on the 6th floor with her. We're talking to everyone who wasn't in the class picture that was taken when she fell. Like you. Can you tell me where you were during the pep rally? It was the weirdest thing. As I was heading to the pep rally, I started feeling really sick, so I dashed off to the bathroom. Next thing I knew, I was hugging in the toilet bowl. Okay, so I think it's leaning to like her being pregnant. I don't know. So you were throwing up at the time of the pep rally? Yeah, it wasn't pretty. What floor bathroom were you in? It was the 1st floor girls' bathroom, and I never want to see that bathroom again as long as I live. First I puke my guts out, and then I look out the window to see a dead body. Oh, I just connected that. She claims to be in the 1st floor, and someone else said they were on the 1st floor too. Romeo said he was on the 1st floor, so surely she should have saw him. Ah, light bulb. So I guess the reason why, what was his name? His name's not Romeo. It's Romero or something, right? Anyways, I think the reason why he wants Olivia to play Juliet is because they are in a relationship and he knocked her up. Maybe he doesn't even know that she's pregnant, but still, they were hooking up. All right, where did I leave off? How did you wind up there before everyone else? You know, being so sick and all. I wasn't the first. Robert was. I heard a scream, and by the time I made it over to the bathroom window to see what the noise was, he was crouched down next to her. Then he stood up and ran away. By the time I got there, it was just me and the body. What happened then? Well, I was by myself for maybe 10 seconds or so when Sophie Sunday came running up next to me. We were both really scared and not really sure what to do. Then maybe 20 or 30 seconds later, Miss Dowling and some other teachers came running up to us and took control. Were you and Jamie close friends? Yeah, we were friends, not exactly close friends. What makes you say that? Well, we didn't always see eye to eye on everything, especially when it came to theater stuff. So what's gonna happen with the play now that Jamie's no longer here? I was Jamie's understudy and I know all of her lines, maybe even better than she did, so I'm ready to take over for her. Of course it will be very emotional for all of us, but the show must go on. Won't that be really hard for you, stepping into the lead so quick like that? Not for me. You have to seize every opportunity in life because it might be your last. I really wanted that role from the get-go and have been ready to replace her at any time for any reason. This could be my first big break. Lucky break, huh? I wouldn't say it like that. I mean, it's tragic for sure, but you can't blame someone for embracing an opportunity that presents itself. It's not like I pushed her out the window. You think someone pushed her? No, I just meant, like it wasn't my fault this happened. Why do you think Jamie got the role of Juliet instead of you? Good question. I guess you'd have to ask Mr. Preakness. He really doesn't like anyone challenging his casting decisions though. It seemed to me like he had his mind up before the auditions. Quite honestly, I think he had a thing for Jamie. Tell me about the boy who found the body. Romero. Is he your boyfriend? Robert? No, he's not my boyfriend, but he does have a little thing for me. After he got cast as Romeo, he pushed pretty hard for me to be Juliet. I think maybe he felt like if we played lovers on the stage, I'd fall for him in real life. It's pretty clear he's into me. He'll do anything I ask. Anything? You know what I mean. He thinks he's Romeo Montague, and I'm his Juliet. It's cute. Oh, so I guess they weren't together. What about Jamie? Did she have a boyfriend? Romantic interests? I don't think so. I mean, she was pretty, in her own way of course, but she was one of those girls who was a bit too mature for the high school boys, I think. So how are you feeling now? Oh, sad to be sure, but I'm trying to see the bright side. I'm excited to have the lead in the play, finally. I meant your stomach. Oh, yeah, I'm fine now, thanks for asking. I think the whole situation shocked me back to health somehow. I didn't think about it for a while, and now I feel normal. It must have been something I ate. Quick recovery. That'll be all for now, Miss Underwood. Okay, I thought she was with Robert and was sick because she's pregnant. Maybe she is, maybe she's not talking about it herself. Who knows? Maybe the drama teacher knows more because he's the last one. So I don't know what else to add from this part. Oh, yeah, of course. So she claimed she was on the first floor bathroom because she was sick and vomiting, but someone else said they were also on the first floor bathroom. So Robert was very quick to find the body because he said he was also on the first floor bathroom. I was in the first floor bathroom and lost track of time because I kept reading Craig's review over and over again. Best review I've ever gotten. So, I mean, they don't give us a map or a directory of where the bathrooms are. The men's and women's bathroom could not be next to each other. There was something they mentioned that the second floor was the women's bathroom. So Johnny says, in the bathroom on the second floor, I was with Sophie. Is that a girl's bathroom? So I guess it doesn't really mean that there's only the girls' bathroom on the second floor. He's just wondering if he was in the girls' bathroom with Sophie. But he does say, yes, it's the girls' bathroom. As if, you know, the second floor only has the girls' bathroom. I don't know, I could be reading way too into this. Okay, let's just move on to our final suspect, Paul Prigness. So he's single, from New York, tragedy and comedy masks shoulder. And he has 4 years of employment as drama educator. Drives a Ford Thunderbird, also doesn't know where the VIN is. He's pretty tall, 6'1". Don't know if that means anything. Okay, let's see his statement. When Jamie jumped, how does he know she jumped? Unless that's just what he's being told. When Jamie jumped, I was in the auditorium fixing part of the Romeo and Juliet set. The balcony where Romeo calls up to Juliet had tipped over during our opening night performance and the entire support structure collapsed. It had to be addressed before tomorrow's performance, so it was either miss the pep rally or miss the game. So I opted out of the pep rally. Doesn't surprise me. Okay, at least he doesn't have a statement, and this is the last interview. Thanks for talking to us. Of course, anything I can do to help. Not even sure what to say. I'm still just devastated and really struggling at this point. Well, to start with, can you state your name for the record, please? Paul Alfonso Prigness. Paul, how well did you know Jamie Banks? Very well. I've known Jamie for the past 4 school years, ever since she started acting in our productions as a freshman. That was also my first year of teaching here. I was fresh out of graduate school, so you could say we grew up together in our own ways. I watched her develop from a young girl into a mature, beautiful woman so quickly. I can't believe she's gone forever. Whoa there, slow down, teacher. There was a pep rally for the entire school at the same time Jamie died, but you weren't there. Why not? I couldn't go because we had to fix an issue with the set before the next show on Saturday. The balcony where Romeo calls up to Juliet broke on opening night. We? Who else was with you? Well, I was by myself. All the students were at the rally. I didn't hear about what happened until Robert Romero came by. Mr. Prigness, you were saying? Yeah. Robert came by and told me she had jumped. It was such a shock. Okay, Mr. Prigness, so you were in the auditorium the whole time fixing the balcony from the Romeo and Juliet set. What was wrong with it? Well, it held up during the performance, but when we were moving it off stage during an intermission, a couple of our stagehands tipped it over and the entire support structure needed to be rebuilt. How was Jamie's relationship with her understudy, Olivia Underwood? Jamie got along with everybody. She used to be really close to Olivia, but I think there may have been a bit of jealousy on Olivia's part because she really wanted to play Juliet. But I knew no one could fill this role the way Jamie could. What was it about her that struck you? Well, she was one of the most talented women I've ever met. She had the character of an old soul. You'd easily think she was 10 years older than she really was. Okay. Slow down, buddy. Slow down. How old are you? 29. Interesting. Did you have any interactions with Jamie this morning? Yes. And I'll probably regret it for the rest of my life. Why? What happened? This is so hard for me. You see, I hadn't read Zimmerman's review in The Voice yet, so I had no idea why she seemed down when I saw her, and stupidly, I didn't even bother to ask what was wrong. I just handed her a $100 bill I owed her for paint she bought and told her I'd see her later. Those pouty eyes she gave me as I walked away will be forever burned into my memory. Okay, so it was for reimbursing the paint. Did Jamie ever tell you about an affair she was having? What? What are you talking about? Was that in the S note? We heard she was seeing someone, but it was a secret. Now that you mentioned that, I do remember her saying something like that. During audition, she said something about relating to the character because of her own forbidden relationship. Maybe that's why she was so perfect for the role, you know? A young attractive girl with a full heart struggling with a forbidden romance. I recall her saying she wanted to scream it from the rooftops but couldn't, or something like that. Teenage girls say a lot of weird stuff. True. You say she was perfect for the role, and I'm not doubting you, but why do you think she had such a bad review in the school newspaper? I was so angry about that when I finally read it. Hemingway once called critics men who watch a battle from a high place only to come down to shoot the survivors. I agree. I don't know what that jerk was thinking. It's so vulnerable going on stage like that. You pour your heart into a performance and expose your soul. It's clear to me that Zimmerman is to blame for all this. What he wrote about her performance was abhorrent and completely untrue. I have no doubt that's what led to her S. Not the secret affair? Well, I don't know. Maybe it was both things. Did you bring Craig in here? You interrogating him? He was in the gym when she fell, and writing a bad review isn't a crime. Well, it should be. Is there anything else you want to tell us? Were you aware of any other relationships Jamie was involved in? Other relationships? No. I think she dated Johnny Roca for a brief time a couple of years ago, but I'm pretty sure he's with the coach's daughter now. I'm sorry, but that's all I can help you with. That's all I know. Thank you for your time, Mr. Preakness. If you have any plans to leave town in the next few weeks, I'm going to need you to let me know first, okay? Okay, I'm good to leave now? You're free to go. Okay, well, we confirmed that, well, I don't know if he could be lying, but he gave the $100 bill to reimburse for the paint, and he saw her that day in the morning, and his alibi is that he went to go fix the set. Okay, so one thing it says is that Robert came by and told me she had jumped. So he said he was in the auditorium though. Yeah, and this moment was like very awkward. So he said, I don't know what happened until Robert Romero came by, and then he totally shuts down. So Robert must have told him something related to Jamie, of course, but not just that she had jumped. Or maybe it could be this was his, natural reaction to recalling that moment of hearing such shocking news. Anyways, I'm still trying to solve objective 1. How can I prove that someone was in that room? And I don't think the forbidden relationship is with this teacher. Okay, I don't know what else I got from this. But that is all the documents. So, back to objective 1. Prove someone was in the room with Jamie. Okay, well, I'm pretty stumped for now. I feel like we got a lot of information, but nothing is like solid proof that someone was in that room. I feel like it can't just be that someone's alibi doesn't hold up. The way they're framing that prove someone was in the room with Jamie, they need like solid proof. So next time we'll continue the investigation and hopefully solve all 3 objectives. And if you made it to this point of the video and you enjoy our content, why not just consider subscribing to our channel or just look out for the next part of this video. So until then, we'll see ya.